What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about vehicles in Gotham Knights. That's right. I've gotten to the point where I need to talk about vehicles. No, but honestly, though, a lot of people have actually asked me about this. We were talking about this in different kinds of, means of transportation before the game was even announced to be Gotham Knights, right? We talked about how could they get us around. You guys know at this point, right, how big of a fan of water I am, right? Now, we got in the gameplay trailer, whatever you want to call it, we obviously got, the motorcycle, right? The one that Batgirl was riding on. And so we got a little bit of information there. I want to go over a couple other vehicles I think could be in the game, and I also want to go over how vehicles could work in the first place. So let's start with the second thing, and then we'll go into the first thing. It'll be interesting because from the trailer, we know that they have their own means of getting from one place to the other. But in all reality, I feel like the fact is they showed, again, in that gameplay trailer, Batgirl getting from one location, wherever she was coming from. So really, we don't know where that location was. But from one place to the other using a vehicle, right? She wasn't swinging around. Now, I'm sure you'll be able to, right? Even in Batman Arkham Knight, you could use the Batmobile, but you didn't have to. I mean, there were obviously some certain scenes you had to, but for the most part, if you wanted to just be gliding and diving and soaring and all that kind of stuff, if you wanted to do that, you could. I think certain characters in Gotham Knights would work with that better than others. Seemingly, Batgirl would be, and we've talked about this, right? Batgirl, and even Warner Bros. Montreal has said this, is the most comparable, most likely, to Batman. So if there was anybody that is going to kind of soar through the skies, it would be Batgirl. Robin, Nightwing, and especially Red Hood, in my opinion, I think maybe even in that order, right? Maybe you can swap Nightwing and Robin, but Red Hood probably seems the most difficult, in my mind, of getting from one place to the other. Really, all three of them do. Really, if you want to include Batgirl, all four of them do. And again, I feel like, we could pick apart the trailer and the gameplay, and we could say, okay, well, we could come up with 1,000 things that are hidden things that they potentially put in there on purpose. In all reality, I think a lot of the stuff isn't hidden, right? They kind of just have it. With the vehicle, though, I do think it's on purpose that they showed us something like that. We got to see kind of how the city reacts, or the population. We got to see a little bit the driving mechanics. Now, we don't know how it feels until we actually get to hop on it. We know what it's like to get off of it. Now, getting on it seems pretty darn easy, right? We can all imagine that. But I feel like with this game, and again, with kind of a rotating cast of characters in terms of who you're playing as, I think vehicles, and this is I don't know if this is a bold kind of prediction, but this is definitely a prediction in general. I feel like this game is going to rely on vehicles more than any of the other games, which in reality, Arkham Knight is really the only one that did rely on a vehicle just at all, right? I think this game is going to be pushing it even further where, okay, obviously, when you get into the actual mission part, when you get to a location, when you're handling enemies, when you're doing, puzzle solving or whatever, you're going to be on foot. You're going to be using your character. But I think for the most part, getting from one place to the next in this game, it's probably going to be easiest/best to use vehicles. Now, again, that could be a bold thing. They could have just been showing that just to show it, and in reality, when we get to play the game, it's no, actually, there's other ways of, transporting yourself just on foot, and, again, you could use the vehicle if you wanted to use the vehicle. So, here's the deal. I was going to originally make this video a list of, maybe vehicles that we would, need in the game. In all reality, I went to look. So you guys know I'm not, the biggest comic guy. I don't know all that much about this stuff. So I went online, and I was looking. And in all reality, yeah, there's vehicles, but there's not that many vehicles, even in the history of Batman comics. Now, there's vehicles personalized to Nightwing, Red Hood, Robin, all of them Batman obviously has the most extensive list of vehicles, but they all have lists of their own. Some of them, actually most of them, are very, very smaller. And what you'll find out, if you were to go look, or I can even show you guys pictures, what you'll find out is everybody, for the most part, seemingly has that bike. The bike that we saw Batgirl using, the one that we've seen, Batman use maybe in the Chris Nolan movies. Everybody has, it's a different name for everybody. And actually, I think Red Hood uses the name for his is exactly the same as Batman's, or maybe he just uses Batman's. But what you'll find is, again, there's a lot of similarities there, and there's 30 different versions of the Batmobile, right? When it comes down to it, we're really stuck with a Batmobile, so like a full-on car, let's call it, okay? A motorcycle, kind of what we saw Batgirl, right? Now, the thing is, and this is what I want to have to talk about, like I said, I was going to have, okay, well, could we have this vehicle, that vehicle? In all reality, would they have one vehicle that just all four of them would be able to use? Or is it personalized to each one? So if I'm Batgirl, and we got to see it again in that gameplay, and we're driving around, if I play as Red Hood, is it the exact same bike, or is it a different bike, but it still is, you know what I mean? It's still technically the exact same thing, because you're not going to make four different bikes that all drive slightly different, right? There's no, I truly do believe this, there's no way you're going to do that. So no matter what, even if the bike looks different, it's still going to operate the exact same way. Just in my opinion, I could end up being wrong with all of this stuff, and in a way, I guess hopefully I will, but at the same time, I don't know if necessarily people would want to have, you know, if I'm playing as one character, I have to learn a whole new kind of driving style versus another. So, again, obviously we have confirmed that, like, this, you know, the motorcycle version, that's in this game. The Batmobile, I would, you know, I think like a redemption arc, even though, you know, Rocksteady was the one who messed up in the first place. I'll go on record continuously, and I actually have for years. I like the Batmobile in Arkham Knight. Now, I don't like the Bat Tank. Actually, I do like it, but I think it's like fun for like if it was put into an entirely different kind of game. It doesn't really work in the Batman games. But in terms of the driving with it, I think it was actually really, really good. So you could say, well, will they do that for hey, let's redeem Warner Bros? Like, yeah, I don't know, like an overarching thing. I don't know. And then when it comes down to it after that, we really only have, in my opinion, now there's a couple other more like more specific things. There was like an icicle thing, like an icicle car that was used to like go into Penguin's like lair in some movie or some like animation or something. Like, would they go that specific? I doubt it. You know what I mean? So I may not know I may not know that much about it. I may not know even, you know, what the name is that I'm talking about, but if we're really going to get deep into these vehicles, the thing is, they have to be very simplistic in a way, right? Where they have like their own style, they have their own purpose of where you're going, and that's it. So really that only leaves us with two other things. It leaves us with some sort of like, now the Batwing is one that's, that's a name commonly mentioned, but there's a couple other variations of that name. Something that can fly. Something that can fly. Would they do that? Now, we've talked about that leading into this game being announced. A lot of people in the community have seen you guys talk about this at this point for years on the channel. I would like it. I would honestly like it. I don't know if they would do it, and I'll tell you why. I think the easiest reason why you would say that they wouldn't is because it would kind of take you out of the city or the quote-unquote world that they've built. Do you know what I mean? So when you're on this bat bike, right, you're driving through what they made. So you can be subject to seeing crimes going on. You're just driving through the city. You're seeing civilians, but you're seeing what they made. If you are flying, unless there's a hard cap on how high you can go, right, so that you still have to fly like within streets, like you won't be above any buildings. Unless they do that, you could just literally fly. Think about that, right? You could literally just fly over the entire thing. Now, I know what you guys could say. Well, GTA is actually a good example. GTA does have those mechanics. I just don't know if a game like this is something that would work like that. You know what I mean? It's a game that I feel like wants to put you close to what's going on. And again, we see with Barbara how easy it is to kind of jump off and they obviously stood still and let Robin jump in and kind of set the whole scene. But you can imagine if you or I are playing it, right? We could go directly from the bat bike, grapple out of it and then just jump into the fight, right? That's what I think a lot of people are going to end up doing. So it's very seamless. It's very fast. If we're in the sky, unless there's a very easy way to kind of eject us and like we drop and then we go into a very seamless glide, which I guess is possible. If gliding is very much focused on in this game, then something like that could work. I'm not, I know I'm trying to come up with reasons why they won't do it. I'm not against it, though. I actually would like something like that. I would love to be able to fly. But again, I don't know if they would have to put a cap on how high we would go, because if you go too high, again, you're pretty much just over everything, and it's kind of like, in a way, it's like a quick travel thing, right, where you can just get from one place to the other. So I don't know if that would necessarily be it. And then something like a boat, like a bat, whatever they want to call it, but something that can basically, float on the water. Now, This is one that you guys know I would go to heaven and back to be able to pull this one off, right? I would absolutely want this in the game just for my love and affection to water. But again, this one, to go more, I guess, the negative route, again, doesn't necessarily make sense because there's not like giant oceans separate. You know what I mean? I mean, there's like little small rivers. There's bridges that separate different parts of Gotham. You imagine, right? I mean, we saw a little bit of the districts. Like there will be water, and normally in these Arkham games, there's water kind of surrounding the island, like overall, right? But you can't swim. You can't go in the water. And once you're in the city, it's all streets, right? Again, maybe there's bridges where there's a little water underneath it, but there's not a lot of opportunity. Again, if you want to like go in like a pool, there's not a lot of opportunity to do that, right? So something like that to get you from one place to the other, but using water as your transportation. Again, I want this more than flying. I would want this over a Batmobile, but you guys know as well as I know, I just don't think that's going to happen. So truth be told, to kind of wrap this up, I want more than just this Batbike, okay? I think that's probably a given. I think a lot of people probably feel the same way. In reality, though, I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, we don't have that much to go off of. We obviously have to make that apparent, right? But I get the sense that that could be it, that we maybe all get, especially, again, because I didn't know this. When you look up these vehicles, they kind of all have a Batbike, and some of them don't really have anything more than that. You know what I mean? So to say that there's going to be like 15 modes of transportation, I don't know. I feel like on foot, and then you whether you glide or you teleport. If you're Robin, you can just probably teleport from one place to the other. However you want to do it. And we got to see a little bit of again in the trailer. However that is, those could very well be it. Maybe they're gonna just cap it there and say, we're not doing the Batmobile. We're doing another driving thing, and it's gonna be a whole lot better and all these things. But that's all you get. Very possible. Honestly, very possible. And it's something that I think the more we see of this game, the quicker and easier it'll be for us to confirm if it is the only thing that's there. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? Do you want there to be other forms of transportation in this game? Do you think it is just going to be, the Batbike and then just, walking? You're going to have to, like, kind of just walk it out. Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, so you know when all these videos go up. If you guys want to support me on Twitter, Discord, or my second channel, all the links for those three things are in the description below. Thank you guys. As always, I truly, truly appreciate your support. More videos coming every 2, 3, 4 days. We'll just keep it moving until we get more information, and we'll go from there, okay? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.